Okay, so I'm going to go back to doing some stairs, and I'm going to do a few different stairs here. So I'm going to start with the one I don't normally use. If I can, I still prefer using Stair by Sketch, just because they're easier to go in and edit. Yeah, I find much easier to edit. Stair by Component's the new tool. Stair by Sketch is the old one. So with Stair by Component, you do have a few options you don't get with Stair by Sketch, and that's why I want to show it to you as well. So using Stair by Component, first thing you'll see in Properties is that it is an assembled stair. So it's this different kind of stair to the one you get with Stair by Sketch. And one of the big advantages though with this kind of stair is that you have pre-made spiral stairs. So if you do want to do spirals, the full spirals going on top of themselves, you can use that.
Going on top of, it's very often, I don't know how should I explain it, it's not really like a round one going on top of each other.
Yeah.
It just open,
You're doing that circular.
Just a curved stair. Oh yeah, I'll do that as well. Yeah. So here you can see in the run, with the run option you've got, as well as straight, you've got full step spiral and the traditional spiral with the start and the end, which is basically just a curved stair. And then you have these other presets for winders and things like that. You can do all of this with Stair by Sketch, but these make it a bit easier. So I'll go straight to full step spiral. You still need to put the column in, which you'd normally have instead of a stringer. But you can go right ahead and make the stair even before you have the column. You start with the centre point, and then bring it out. You can see it'll give you the start point for the sketch there. But notice in Properties that it's come up with the desired number of risers, and I've got 14 there. So I'll cancel that, escape, and I'm going to go to not the risers but the levels. So it's got ground floor, that's what I want as the base level, but then the top level is for going to 5-stair landing. And I'll just show you my section. So you can see I've got ground floor, but then I've got a level for this 5-stair landing because of the way I had to make these stairs. And I want this stair obviously to go to my next level, level 1. So in Properties, go back to the ground floor. In Properties, you should always have a look at your levels and think about the level you're going from and to. In other words, the floor-to-floor height of your stair. And that's really the critical measurement in any stair. Because from that, you work out the number of risers, which will give you the riser height. Well, the maximum is 190. And so that in Properties, if you go to Edit Type, that's set as a property in the stair. So here you can see the maximum riser height, 190. It's still a good idea to always check that, but usually with the Australian template, that's going to be preset to, to what's in the VCA. So now I've got 26 risers. So using again that full step spiral, it'll let me do all 26, even though that's not legal anymore. So just because the sun's on the screen there, I'll do this off the top. And clicking a point, that's again giving the centre point. And so I've got to at least come out as far as the half of the width. So again, you can't see that here, so I'll cancel this and bring that down so that you can see the, with a assembled stair, it's in the type. If you go to Edit Type, you can see there the minimum run width is set to 1,000. And that means from the centre point, I have to come out at least 500. And that will give you a difficult stair. That's with the risers or the treads touching, so I should add room for the column. So I'll come out 600, and that at least leaves me 100, or I can come out further, 700, and that gives me a bit more room. So I'm going to click there, and that will do a stair that, if you look at it, you can see is actually going over the top of itself. I'll finish it and just show you that in 3D. And it's a good thing they've added that option, because making that kind of stair previously was really difficult. But now, it's a lot easier. So you can do those stairs still with Revit, but again, that's totally illegal in Australia now. So, goodbye. And I'll go and make another one, just going back to the stair tool, stair by component again. And you have the centre end spiral, which basically works in the same way. Set the landing first, also the level. Coming out to give the start point. Okay, so up until this point it's the same, but then you can see it won't let me go past that start point. So the second point that you give is the end of the stair, and this way you can count the number of rises, so the maximum being 18, and then I'd have to do another run, so I can give a new centre point and give a new start point, which would allow for my landing, and then coming around I can do the remaining rises.
Does that start from how does it already know that it needs to start halfway up?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no.
Just the landing.
Yes. Yeah. Now look, it's still not going to work very well, but I'll just show you, just so you've got an idea how spiral stairs work. They're a very difficult thing to get right. Okay, so I'd put this landing in, but I'd say we're not. Well, we might. Yeah, we do get head. Well, let's see. Maybe we do get headroom. It's going to be touch and go. You get headroom under the stairs, and you might think, well, that's great, that's going to work, but the stringer is going to cause some problems. So I don't know. I think it'd be difficult to make any stair like that work without having a larger radius and doing lots of things to make it work. Very difficult. So with lower heights, you can still do spiral stairs. So I don't think you can't use them, but again, they're not always the easiest thing. Also notice with assembled stairs, it considers each run and each landing to be a separate object. So you can see as I delete each of those, they're a separate thing. So I'll just go back and make one more that will be maybe a more valid stair. So just using one of these tools, say with a U-shape or something, to show you something different. Okay, so you can see here, it's automatically generated the whole shape. So I'm going to leave it as that shape. And the other thing I wanted to show you is how to change this into another kind of stair, a different construction. Mostly I want to go through the stair by sketch tool, because this one is, it's interesting, but I honestly don't use it anywhere near as much as stair by sketch. So there's my new stair, and you can see it's a timber, typical timber frame stair. But again, remember this term, assembled stair. So, looking at, it's just what Revit calls it. So it's a Revit object, and you'll see when you make stair by sketch, it's a different kind of stair. So these are the two kinds. Stair by component gives you assembled stair. Now, if you want to get the other stairs from the library, the way you do it is by opening. So remember, if you want things that are system families, it's a bit cryptic in Revit, you don't use load family. So hopefully by now you're getting used to using load family when you place doors, load family, windows, again, load family, components, same thing. Stairs, try that and see how you go. If I do it, exactly. Stair by component, no load family. Get across. The way you get them, they're still in the library. Don't try and load a family, just open. And don't try and be too tricky, don't try and open families or anything like that, just click where it says open. That will open any file that Revit can open. So here you've got all these different file types. And that means I can still use the shortcut over here to go to the metric library and down to sample files, and there you have stairs. Open, and you've got all these different pre-made stairs. So I'll get one maybe that's got open risers to something different. Okay, so I want to use this stair. Exactly, click on it, and then in the clipboard panel, this will help you with other things as well. Copy to clipboard, paste thing comes up. Do you know how to switch files? Switch files within the program. You can use the toggles up here, but Control Tab is a really good shortcut. And then I can go to the modify panel, paste. Again, don't choose a sub option if you don't need it. Just click on the top part of the button there. Click somewhere to bring it in. So that stair is now part of this file. Use that. Then I'm going to select it and straight away delete it. Now I can click on this stair I made previously and then find the one I just chose in the list. This is what it's called, spiral with stringer, that's fine. And change it to that. So that's how you get system families from the library. Yep, sure. I'm going to do it again with a railing. So railings work the same way. So that railing is railing 900mm pipe, and you can see in the list you've only got a few there. So on the main menu, open, using the shortcut here, I'm going to go to metric library, and then again sample files, and this time railing. So you've got all these different pre-made railings. Making railings is pretty tedious, so it's good to use these when you can. And let's go for, I've used that one already, maybe one of these. Okay, so I want this railing. Copy to clipboard, Control Tab, back into your file, paste. Don't worry about any messages about duplicate types, just OK. Click to place it somewhere, delete it. Done. Now I can choose my old railing and choose the new name. Yep. So it gives you access to a lot more resources once you can do that. There we go. Any railing I can now choose and turn into this new one. So that's great if you're using assembled stairs, but then I want to also show you stair by sketch, which is the main option I still use. So I'm going to make a more interesting stair here. I want to make something that's a bit, has a more interesting shape. So going in this area maybe, I'll go instead of stair by component to stair by sketch. And you'll see why. Using the run tool, it's still a good option, but I'm assuming you've done that. If you haven't done much of that, have a look in the previous video I did on stairs, and I've given an example using the run tool. I'll just point out that there you have center arc as an option which lets you do things like spiral stairs if you want them. But that's not what I want to show you. If you have something that is not a regular shape, instead of using run, you've got boundary and riser. And maybe I will just draw a quick run so you can see what it creates for you. It makes black lines, they're your risers. The blue lines you run, don't worry about that too much, but the green line is your boundary. So, what are the sides of your stair called in real life, generally? What holds up your stair? Exactly, the stringer. Yep, so think of those like your stringer. Even if you don't have stringers on the side, that's the housing for your stairs. And then the black lines, again, your risers, I'm sure you've all worked with those. So, I'll delete that. You can create them directly using these tools. So with riser, I'll draw some lines. And so I'm going to just get some straight lines. And they're just lines, so you can still use offset and tools like that to create more. Let's go for 300, make it a bit more generous. So I can pick these lines and just quickly get some extra lines in there. I might want some of them to be curved. So back to riser. You've got all the different shape options you have normally. So with an arc, you can have some curve. Right, and that's often going to give you some interesting things. And what I haven't been pointing out is this little message that comes up telling you how many rises you've created and how many are remaining. So always remember that floor-to-floor height that I mentioned. Further down, you can adjust the desired number of rises if you want more, or you can make it less, but in this case, it's at the minimum. If I go lower, oh actually, sorry, here we go. It won't let me because I'm going below, I'm going over 190 if I do that. So 186 or 184 is the maximum riser height I can have with this stair. I can increase the number of risers and reduce that riser height, which is often a good thing. You don't want to always go to the maximum. And then back to offset, I'll just keep getting some extra offsets from these ones I've created. And then you can see it's going to keep counting the risers for me. So I've got 13 risers created, 15 remaining. I'll maybe put in a landing now. So back to riser, I can draw something at a different angle. And Revit will have no problem interpreting this. So back to offset, just to get the rest. Yeah. Okay, so I've got still 6 remaining. Okay, so they're all my risers. Now I'll draw the boundaries, and these can just connect those lines. But another good trick is to just draw them out to the side. If you want something that's at a different angle, it's fine. Yep. So I'll mirror this over to the other side, just with mirror draw axis. Okay, so that might be the shape I want. I'll trim the front. It tends to help if you do that. But the rest, it'll work out. It's clever enough, except here, no, sorry, let's think about that. I'm going to just nudge this over a bit so it works. And yeah, that should be alright, we'll see in a second. I'll draw some more boundaries going for the landing, but I'll first actually draw the sides of this one. So I'll do that at an angle, coming the other way maybe. Get a sort of kidney shaped thing. So back to mirror draw axis, sorry. And for the landing, it's really important that you have a separate boundary line or things won't connect properly. Okay, so that will work. Obviously I should really fix that landing shape up a bit maybe, but for now I'll leave it like that. And so even though the risers here cross over the boundary and these don't touch it, it'll work that out. Ah, okay, no, it's got some issues, so that happens. Let's see, it's, I'm sure because of this one, so I'm going to delete it and just replace it with a line. And yeah, I think I'm being pushing it a bit with that one. Let's see if this works. Yeah, normally it's fine. It's just got some issues with, I think I might have drawn an extra boundary or something. Let's just see what I've done there. No, that's alright. So I'm just checking my boundary count. Yeah, it's got 6, that's right. Okay. No, that's what I'm trying to show you. You don't usually have to trim them. It's just the angles that are confusing it. So I'll make it a bit simpler. I'll just take that second part away, which I think is confusing it. This part should work. Yep, that's okay. So I'll just do the second part with run, and that's fine. You can have, you can see there, after I completed it, it did the trimming for me. So it's pretty good in that way. It's one thing Revit does pretty much automatically without too many dramas most of the time. Those arcs actually should have been done differently, so I'll redraw those. That's better. And so I've done the first flight by just drawing my risers and boundaries directly, but you can still add to it using Run, which will generate those other things automatically. Absolutely, yeah, definitely, yep. That's exactly, yep. So here, I think this might have been my issue, that I didn't snap to that corner. That's probably all it was. Okay, so this should work now. Yes. So now I can go back still and edit this. So if I want to bring that boundary out and make it the shape I had before, it will work. So I can stretch that out. You can usually even extend these. Let's see. I'll try it. Yep, all good. Yep. So yeah, really flexible when you work with Stair by Sketch. Stair by Component is a lot more fiddly when you want to do work like this.
When I work with the Stair by Sketch, I already worry about the run. Do we have to draw the run?
No, you don't need the run. And the run, the run there gives you the arrow, which is a nice thing. But you can easily draw that yourself afterwards. No, unfortunately. So if I go to here, edit sketch, selecting that line, and then once I delete it, the whole thing will go, which is a shame.
That means if you want to get rid of that, you just like drawing again, visualize it.
Yes, exactly. That's right. Yeah. So it's a really flexible tool. But then the final thing I wanted to show you with Stair by Sketch is that if I select that, you'll see it's not an assembled stair. So it's just a stair you'll see in Properties, which is a different kind of object to an assembled stair. So, again, open, and if you go to the Stairs file in the regular metric library with 2014 or above, then they're all assembled stairs. You can't bring them in the same way as the ones I just showed you. So how do you get the stairs that aren't assembled? Well, if you don't have the old version of Revit, you're out of luck. But I've put, that's right, you're out of luck. But I've put the old library onto the P drive for you. So on the main menu, open, and in here you can go by browsing to the P drive, interior design, not jewelry design, sorry, interior design, and then down to Revit library. This is the 2013 library. It's actually the 2012 library. So if you go down to the Stairs folder here, sorry, not Stairs, sample files folder, and then open this Stairs file, it might look the same as the one I just showed you. Well, you can see for a start it's upgrading it. They're just a different kind of stair. So it's a technical thing. And so these, again, they look the same, but select one of them and you'll see it just has stair, not assembled stair. So that means I can copy this one. Let's get a different one. I'll get the one with the centre stringer or something. Okay, and again, in the Clipboard panel, copy the clipboard. Control Tab. We'll go into the file I'm in, paste, click to place it. I'm going to show you in 3D what it looks like. There's my new stair, which I don't need, I'll delete that. And then the one I've modelled, I can select and choose this new kind of stair. There we go. I don't want that wall anyway, I'll delete that. Okay, so lots of options for stairs, but you know, sometimes those technical things can get in the way, and hopefully that'll make it easier for you when you're trying to get things from the library especially. have a look at the other things in the library. I've also put a another folder there for you. If you go to the, again, Revit library on the P drive, sample files, sorry, not sample files, back to the Revit library. There's another folder that you don't always get, system family files. And you'll see in there, these are the British library files. So in there, you have another stairs file and walls and things like that as well. They have a lot of time instead of making these things from scratch. Don't worry about these things coming up. Okay, so some different stairs that you don't have normally. Okay, yeah. System family files. If I'll show you again. And so what I recommend is, yeah. Oh, you need to check that the properties, but they're basically okay. So what you should do on these computers, if you don't have a shortcut to the Revit library, just go to open a file. So again, on the main menu, go to open, and then browse to, again to the P drive, interior design, and instead of browsing each time to the Revit library, drag it over to the grey shortcut bar on the left, and it'll make a shortcut there for you, which is what I've done. And that way you can easily just click to go to that. So here, Revit library takes me to that folder every time. And you can then easily have your own library folders, add them there, especially on your own computers, and
drag it to the right panel.
yeah, yep, that's it. And so just to finish up with that, so I know this is something everyone asks about after a while. If you want to get other things, railings I've shown you, but what about walls? You don't have them in sample files, they just don't give you any pre-made walls, so you're really limited to what you have in the templates to begin with until you make your own. But have a look in that system family files folder and you'll see all these pre-made walls. So if you need different construction, lots of different setups for walls, and stacked walls, all sorts of things you have here. So they can be useful things to have, to get them in. Yep. Yeah. So to bring them into your own files, same method. Select, copy to clipboard, Control tab until you get to your file, paste and place them. You don't even need to use that particular object. As long as you know what it's called. It's CAV R10275I100P. Who knows what that means? It's some British thing. Well, I do know, but I'm not going to worry about that. And so here we are. I'll delete that. But when I go to draw my own walls, or if any wall is there and I want to change it, I can simply select it and change it to that new kind of wall, which, well, sometimes gives you interesting results. If you've got a draw in this wall, it's probably not going to help you very much. That's actually because I've got another wall in front of it. Get rid of the feature wall, and there we are. We've got the just bring that around so you can see it better. This is in realistic. Let's go to shaded, and God, those colours are coming up down there on the projector. But you can see there things that maybe you wouldn't have looked at yet when you're making your walls, and you don't need to know. You can just get them from the library. Well, they're from the UK, but they have the same building materials we do.
Yeah.
So
It's not like given to us.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yes, have a look in some of the other regions' libraries. You can get them all from the Autodesk site. The Scandinavian ones are really good because there's a big Revit user base there. And the American ones aren't fantastic because they build in a very different way to us and most Commonwealth countries. But yeah, the European ones are really good and the British ones. Anyhow, so hopefully that'll help you, like I was saying, and so I'll finish that video there, otherwise it'll go on forever.